We're your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Thanks for choosing us. The Electoral Commission has set up 2 committees to scrutinize the nomination forms of presidential aspirants and establish their eligibility for the nation's top job. Though the 1992 Constitution narrows down the eligibility to only 40 years and above and of sound mind, the EC has other criteria that must be met. The NPP's flag bearer, Dr. Bawumia, was the first person to file his nomination. Before we hear from the NPP flag bearer, here's Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, with the details of the rules.
Regulation 7 of CI 127 enjoins a presidential candidate to complete and sign 4 copies of the nomination forms. Additionally, the forms are to be signed by no less than 2 persons who are registered voters in the area of authority of each district assembly. By law, the presidential candidate is also required to designate a person to serve as his or her vice presidential candidate. Further, the presidential candidate is required to deliver the forms to the Commission on the date prescribed by the Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, as part of the Commission's efforts to ensure a transparent, credible, and accountable process, the Commission has developed a detailed checklist that embodies the criteria to be satisfied by presidential candidates as prescribed by law. The checklist will guide the scoring and awarding of marks by teams established by the Commission to scrutinize and review each nomination form submitted.
She also warned the committee set up to scrutinize the documents to be guided by the rules.
As part of the Commission's efforts to ensure a transparent, credible, and accountable process, the Commission has developed a detailed checklist that embodies the criteria to be satisfied by presidential candidates as prescribed by law. The checklist will guide the scoring and awarding of marks by teams established by the Commission to scrutinize and review each nomination form submitted. As in 2020, the Commission has established 2 teams which have been tasked to review all forms submitted. The technical team has been tasked to review forms to ensure that the presidential candidates meet the qualifications as set out by law, namely that the candidate is at least 40 years of age, that he or she has satisfied all tax obligations, and that he or she has nominated a vice presidential candidate, among others. The second team, namely the IT team, has been charged with the responsibility of scrutinizing the voter ID cards of presidential candidates and their supporters, so as to verify whether the candidates and their supporters are indeed registered voters. Both teams have been provided adequate training and have been oriented to carry out their functions as prescribed by law.
Let's take you now live to the EC headquarters. My colleague James Aveji is on the ground for us. James, we know the Vice President handed over his forms to the EC chairperson personally. Who else accompanied him?
Well, firstly, he was accompanied by what you describe as the entire machinery of the party. Talking about the chairman of the party, Mr. Tibinti, accompanied him, the general secretary of the party, Justin Kodia, as well as the majority leader, Alexander Martin, also in his company, as well as other stalwarts of the party, including the immediate past chairman of the party, Mr. Freddie Blade. And so all the big names you would expect to witness this have been here this morning, including former Director of Elections, Peter McMahon, as well as Director of Legals. We're all here to help him present his nomination form.
Now, James,
most importantly, is his running mate, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh.
Now, what did he say after submitting his forms?
Well, he believes that the country as we speak in the next few months, up to January 9, when the election result will be declared, is a very important period for the country to test our democracy as well as our resilience in conducting free, fair, credible elections. Now, he emphasized his commitment to peace during this election as he calls on other Ghanaians to also help the EC to deliver this election that we all anticipated on December 7th.
And for the opportunity. And for me, it is personally a very historic opportunity to submit these forms for the first time as a presidential candidate. I want to pray and ask that we all pray for God's blessings for our dear country, Ghana, because we are embarked on this process, which is an election, and these are part of the processes towards the December 7th election. And we need God to continue to bless our country. What we are trying to do is to help uplift our country. We don't want to tear down our country. And so it's very important that our country is uplifted after the election. And in this context, I believe that our prayers and our behaviors as we go through and our conduct will be very, very important to ensure that this process is very peaceful at the end of the day. I believe also that we should pray for the Electoral Commission. They do a very, very difficult job, probably the most difficult job, because whenever you go into an election, you're either going to win or lose, and usually the EC is the scapegoat for people who may not have won. So we want to pray that the good Lord strengthens them, gives them the wisdom. Pray for the chairperson, the deputies, and the staff all the way through, the returning officers precisely.
Well, James, we know that the leader of the new force, Kwame Bediako, has also submitted his forms. Who else has submitted his or her forms?
So, first, in addition to the vice president, 6 other persons, including Nana Kwame Bediako, have submitted their forms. Dr. Hassan Ayariga of the APC has submitted his form. The team for Ghana Union Movement, which is a Christian partner, Andrews, have been here to submit their forms. He is the only candidate who hasn't been here by himself to submit the forms, but his team were here to submit on his behalf. Other candidates include Kofi Kalu of the LPG, Samuel Apia Dankwa, who is an independent candidate, as well as Dr. George Tumberma, have all submitted their forms as we speak. JM is expected to submit, John Dramani Mahama of the NDC is supposed to submit his forms as we speak at exactly 2 o'clock. Just before we come on air, the party executives led by the General Secretary as well as the Chairman of the party, Johnson Asedi Nketia, as well as Titi Kwete, just drove into the EC's office where they are expected to meet the Electoral Commission.
Now,
to submit. What we are thinking is that John Dramani Mahama himself may not be present to submit the forms. I haven't seen his running mate yet, and so if all things being equal, the secretary as well as the chairman will be the ones to submit the forms on behalf of John Dramani Mahama. But we can listen to the LPG's Kofi Kalu, who, as the filing of nominations have started and will be ending on Friday, the next line of actions will be the number games. Where would which of the political parties candidates or the independent candidate will sit on the ballot paper? So far, 34 of them. If the EC is to clear all of them, it means we are going into the election with about 34 candidates. If any of them are dropped, We know about the number 1, the number 2, number 3. Kofi Akpaloo is hopeful that he will secure the first slot, which he believes will guarantee victory for him in the 2024 election. You can listen to it.
For receiving my nomination this morning. Even finding time to see it, we really appreciate it. And we know for sure I will be number 1 on the ballot. And I want all Ghanaians to rally behind LPG, vote Kofi Akpaloo to be the next president of Ghana. God bless you and bless everyone.
Well, James, leader of the APC, Dr. Hassan Ayariga, raised 2 key concerns, especially on the Galamsey menace, after filing his nomination. Tell us more about that. Unfortunately, we've lost connection to James Aveji, but we just brought you that happening now from the EC head office. The flag bearer for the NDC will be filing his nomination shortly. He won't be doing that in person, though. We're told that the General Secretary and the chairperson for the party would be there to do the filing on his behalf. Let's do some other stories here. Speaking at the party's headquarters after filing his nomination, the MPP flag bearer expressed gratitude to his supporters for electing him to represent them in the upcoming election. He, however, did not mince words, criticizing John Dramani Mahama and accusing him of wanting to take Ghana back to the dark days of doomsday and mismanagement in critical sectors.
Just about a year ago, many people were questioning whether the elephant would be able to ride to victory in December 2024. We were engaged in our internal party primaries and contests. And so we were a little distracted, and many people were questioning whether we would be able to win December 2024. Well, it's been a year since, and so far, the MPP, the Elephant Party, is back in very good shape, and we are riding to victory in 2024. Let us make no mistake about it, that we have 89 days to go to the December 2024 election, and we have to work hard. This is just about 3 months. We have to work hard and come together, unify in every constituency, every electoral area, every polling station, to make sure we bring out our people on the day and to let people see what the MPP has done. So far, the narrative has changed and the momentum is now on our side. It is clear, and our opponents a year ago seemed very confident. But today, rather than being confident, they seem very angry as they see themselves losing this election. Let me give you an analogy. A driver was to take a bus from Accra to Paga, and he got into the bus, and before he reached Insawam, he broke down completely. He did not even have enough money to have chalk in schools. Teacher training allowances were cancelled. Nursing training allowances were cancelled. We had to live in doomsday for 4 years. The National Health Insurance Scheme was collapsed. National Ambulance Scheme collapsed. We had a banking system which was in crisis. He told us he wasn't a magician to create jobs. We went to the election and we decided as a people to get rid of this bad driver. And we brought in a new driver along with his driver's mate. Nana Akufo-Addo came with Bawumia. And we got into the bus just before in Sawam to head to Paga. We moved very quickly and everything has gone reasonably well. We faced storms along the way.
Aspiring members of parliament of various political parties and independent aspirants for 2024 elections are filing their nomination forms at the Electoral Commission's offices around the country. Now, in the Ashanti region, some incumbent MPs have already filed their nominations with high hopes of securing another term in office. Let's take a listen to some supporters of incumbent MP for Menchia North and Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Akwesi Konadu, who is currently going through the filing processes. My colleague Nana Boachi Iyadum is on the ground for us. He joins us live from the Ashanti Regional EC head office. Nana, what can you report?
We are currently at the Asokari Mampong EC head office. We have been to the Ashanti Regional head office itself, where some incumbent members of parliament filed their nominations. While we were at the Ashanti Regional EC head office, incumbent members of parliament such as the Deputy Minister for Finance, Stephen Amwa, who is MP for Inshaya, so filed his nomination alongside the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Akwesi Konadu, who happens to be the Member of Parliament for Menchia North, also did file his nomination. Some other incumbent members of Parliament are expected to file at the EC head office today, but then where we are currently, this is where the aspirants for the Ashanti constituency are expected to file their nomination. And as I speak to you, one major contender of the incumbent Member of Parliament for the Ashanti constituency, Muntaka, his main opponent from the New Patriotic Party side, that is Manaf Ibrahim, is expected to file his nomination here at the Asokari Mampo EC office. That is why we are currently here observing the process. Across the Ashanti region, there are a fierce contest, I must say, especially with the rise of independent candidates who are picking up their nomination forms, who are also filing up their forms today. And so for Porikum municipality, Porikum constituency, I must say, and then the Subin constituency, when we have our eyes on ground, we realize that two independent candidates have come up from these constituencies who intend to contest incumbent members of parliament there. And so in the Ashanti region, the atmosphere is a bit tense when it comes to the chances of incumbent members of parliament as they face fierce contest from independent candidates and also...
Nana, stay with me. Let's take you now live to the EC headquarters here in the Greater Accra region. We are told the chairperson of the NDC, Asiedu Nketia, is addressing the media.
And through exchange of communications, we all agreed that today, 2 o'clock, is the appointed time for the filing of nominations. So we are here for that purpose. We have brought with us duly completed nomination forms, and let me commend you for making the forms available online, so we didn't have to come here to pick physically. So we've completed the nomination forms in quadruplicate as required by law. We submit here attestation to the tax compliance of our candidate in the form of a tax clearance certificate, and then a declaration from the audit service, a declaration to assist liability under Article 286 of the 1992 Constitution, the official receipt. And then we have a banker's draft covering the filing fees, and then we have the pictures sizes of which have been stipulated in your nomination forms. And we submit the particulars of a person selected as the running mate for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who is in the person of Professor J. Nana Opoku-Agyeman. We are hopeful that he's going to be the first female Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. In addition, we have paid, we submit here our banker's draft covering the filing fees for all our 276 parliamentary candidates across the country. We are hopeful that you notify your district offices about this so that they don't request another payment from our candidates. So on this note, we want to thank you very much for receiving us. And at this point, we have the pleasure to submit the documents to you for your scrutiny. And we will be awaiting for a declaration that our candidate has fully complied with the requirements. Thank you very much.
Let's put this.
The nomination forms.
Yes.
So bring forward.
Yeah.
The nomination form. Yes. The banker's draft. And the second draft.
This is for the parliamentarians. All the asset declaration.
Declared assets.
The photos for each of them. Yeah. Tax clearance.
Yeah. That's clearance.
And for running business.
And then for the running letter.
And then
Letter.
Chairperson of the NDC there, Asiedu Nketia, submitting the forms of John Dramani Mahama to the EC chair. Away from the EC headquarters, there is tension at Wale Wale in the northeast region after irate youth chased out the national northern regional chairman of the MPP from the Pentecostal Church voting center. The youth say they suspect Mohammed Adam Bantama Samba was carrying ballot materials into the voting center. Over 800 delegates will today select a parliamentary representative for the NPP after a Tamale High Court annulled January's primaries and ruled in favor of a rerun. Mahama Kabiru and Hajia Laraba Abudu are going head-on with each other and they are lobbying to get delegates on their side. Let's bring in Ilyasu Tanko. He's a man on the ground. He joins us live from Wale Wale. Ilyasu, why did the youth suspect Mohammed Samba was carrying ballot materials into the voting center?
Well, this is the current confusion at the polling station, even though voting has resumed and is ongoing after this particular confusion. But we continue to get information from the police, and according to the police sources, this particular vehicle, they have found belongs to the Northeast Regional Deputy Secretary, who is Yamusa Ibrahim. And when the police found the vehicle parked, the youth surrounded this particular vehicle, asking for that particular vehicle to be searched. There was resistance initially from the owner of the vehicle, Yamusa Ibrahim, and so he refused to go for the vehicle to be searched and ordered the Northern Regional Chairman, Mohammed Samba, to go and engage the police. So according to the police sources, when Mohammed Samba came, the youth didn't take it lightly, and they moved there to ensure that he leave the place for the vehicle to be searched. As we speak, the vehicle has been searched. Police sources are very tight-lipped about the content found in this particular vehicle. So we do not know exactly what has been found in this particular vehicle, but the police have taken over this particular issue, and the vehicle has been towed to the municipal police headquarters here in Wale Wale. So this is about the confusion that has erupted, and the vehicle is no more at the polling center. It is currently in the custody of the police.
Thank you, Ilyasu Tanko. Let's take you back to the EC headquarters here in Accra. There's an update for you.
At this point, I give it to hand over the mic to the chairman, Mr. Johnson, the city secretary, just to say some few words to Ghanaians. Just some few
I thought that
words.
I thought that we will address the press outside.
You say something.
Well, thank you very much. I want to thank all Ghanaians for their support so far. From our rounds, there are all indications that change is in the air. Sure. And so we just crave your indulgence to secure the peace of the country before, during, and after the elections. We wish to urge the Commission to also play their role as a neutral umpire. We have concerns about the process so far, and I believe we are engaging, and that is the purpose of the engagement, so that we can get mutual conclusions that are acceptable to everybody. But we are not going to sleep over our rights at all getting into these elections. And so we are hopeful that the Commission will listen and listen to us very well and discharge their responsibilities in a manner that will be satisfactory to all participating parties and the general public. Thank you very much. May God bless our homeland, Ghana.
On this note, I'd like to thank everybody, the media, the interact from the NDC, for visiting us and presenting your nomination form. The Commission would like to thank you, and God bless you. Thank you. That's the end of this session.
To the media, the national chairman will be addressing you outside.
No, don't worry. I will just.
To the EC headquarters. There you have it, the NDC chairperson officially handing over the forms of the NDC flag by John Dramani Mahama to the EC chair, Jean Mensah. Well, that's it for Election Brief. For more news, log on to myjohnwan.com. My name is Faustina Safun. Good afternoon.